from the Dramatic Capture Series. It is the Triple Takeover. Yes, we've got Starscream, we've got Blitzwing, and we've got Astrotrain in a 3-pack that commemorates a rather interesting episode where, Starscream tried to take over and, Decepticons are Decepticons, so, didn't work out the way he thought. Kind of got betrayed. So, I just got this a few days ago. Okay, it was like a week, but I didn't have the chance to actually do a review on it. My AC was out for like 2 weeks, and plus I had cons, so I wasn't going to be swimming in sweat for you guys. No offense. We're going to go through this 3-pack of Transformers and see how good they are, and might even compare them to their mold mates. Have some fun along the way. Now, if you're new to the channel, I'm Captain Kyle. Welcome aboard. If you've been watching for a while, thanks so much. That is totally awesome. And it is time to take over. Be right back. All right, so this box is too big for my close-up cam, so I'm just gonna have to use the main cam. You can see it's pretty cool. It shows the 3 perpetrators of the treason against Megatron, leader of the Decepticons. And on the back, it shows the 3 figures. But interestingly enough, does Starscream have his coronation stuff? I mean, interesting, but let's break it out. Now this is a sleeve, and then it has an interesting box that shows like technical, like line drawings of them all in their air vehicle modes. And the back just is like stuff. I don't even know what that is. But let's open it up and we find, yes, the 3 figures all in their robot modes, along with Starscream's coronation gear. So bonus, he doesn't have his, chair, but, and there's a lot of friggin' elastic band things, plastic strips for me to cut. So I'm gonna start cutting.
5 hours later.
So after much snipping, they're all free. So the nice thing about the box is as I snipped, the plastic wrap fell into the bottom of the box, so I don't have to clean it off my table. That's nice. All right, but we have Air Commander Starscream, who's kind of traitorous, and he comes with his 2 alternate guns for when he's wearing his coronation gear. He comes with this wonderful cape, his 2 shoulder things, epaulets. I don't know what they're called exactly, but they're called stuff, and a crown that we can have Galvatron step on it at some point. So we also have Blitzwing, and he comes with his 2 guns and his sword. He does not have the weird looking power hand things that also can go on him in tank mode. Honestly, don't really like those things, so I'm good with that omission. And finally, we have Astrotrain, and he comes with 3 different guns. And he does not come with the little boxcar train attachment thing, which I'm, again, good with. I had that stored somewhere, certainly not with my other Astrotrain. So let's go over these guys one at a time, and we're going to start with the perpetrator and the origin of the Triple Takeover, the guy who started everything in motion. We're going to start with Starscream. I am Air Commander Starscream. Now, they obviously used the coronation modifications. He is very similar to the Earthrise version of Starscream, but they made him a little bit different. Coloration and hands, pretty much. And of course, the added stuff. Now, to help out with this comparison, I have Coronation Starscream. He's got his chair, but I am gonna, first of all, dethrone him. Coronation Starscream, this is bad comedy. So I am gonna go over posability of Starscream pretty quickly, because you've seen this mold a lot. But in case you haven't seen one of my videos, I will run it through it. But I mainly want to look at the deco and the differences. So putting them side by side, it is hard to tell, and I don't think it's because of yellowing, but the Coronation Starscream has a little bit more of like a tan aspect, whereas this is more gray. It might be hard to tell in the camera, but there is a change in that deco. The red is a little tad bit brighter on the Triple Takeover version. The blue is also a different shade. Again, not much difference. It's definitely more leaning towards a hint of green, whereas these are more baby blue. Now, looking at the side of his legs, you can see there is paint apps or a sticker or something that looks like paint on Starscream's tail fins, basically forming an F, which stands for anyways. So there are differences there. The back of the feet on this one are just blue, whereas this one has this gray piece. So there are differences, minor enough, but there are differences if you picked it up and you were familiar with both of them, you could identify them without having to worry about stuff and things. Now, before we get into the posability on this guy, I'm going to put this Starscream aside, and we're going to compare everything. The crowns look pretty much the same. The interior blue, slight difference in color. So you can tell which is which, but it is so. Slightly different shade of purple for the shoulder pieces, the epaulets, whatever they're calling them. It's definitely darker with the Triple Takeover version. Very minor changes. I mean, if you don't have a Coronation Starscream and you want one, here's an opportunity. Do you really need this guy in order to, you know, be a completist? Well, if you're a psycho like me, then yes. But if you're not, then you can do without. The cape, this is the Coronation Starscream Studio Series one, and you can definitely see it's much more purple with the Triple Takeover. So he's lacking the chair, so we can't compare chairs. We can compare guns, and the Triple Takeover guns are gray with no color on the posts, whereas the Coronation Studio Series 1 does have this blue on the posts. I don't know why, though his regular cannons do not have that, and it's not on the regular guns of the Triple Takeover. But we can quickly just deck him out, so you can see the Coronation Starscreams side by side. So there is your new king, and there is your old king. Again, it's a little more striking. When it's all together, you can see the differences in the purples. You know, purple is a royal color, so the new one is a little more royal. A little pain in the ass for making me buy yet another Starscream of this mold. Give me a brand new Age of the Primes Starscream with some cool stuff, or the Studio Series Starscream that's coming out from TF1, but got a lot of this mold. So there you have the differences. So let's put that one aside and concentrate on the Triple Takeover version. And for posability, I am taking off all his royal accoutrements. I will put back on his arm guns because reasons. There you go. And very quickly, because I've reviewed that one before, it's the same exact mold. It does feel nice and tight. He cannot do a full toes up Jean-Claude Van Damme. It's just not built that way. He does have ankle tilts, ankle swivels, which are very nice. He can kick forward. His little crotch plate moves up, so he can kick forward decently. He's got a butt plate here that makes it very difficult for him to kick backwards. But he can do somewhat of a side kick. Decent height if he uses both legs. Bends at the knee very nicely. And swivels all the way around. Now, twisting at the waist does not happen with this guy, unfortunately. The arms, if you were to move the wing out of the way, which it's not really designed to do that, they can pretty much go all the way around if the wing wasn't blocking. He bends at the elbow, can go off to the side. He can say, "Who disrupts my coronation?" He does have a swivel all the way around, and his hand open and closes. He's got articulated fingers, which I didn't mention in my first review. I had to do a follow-up video where I apologize. I forgot to mention that. His head, of course, turns all the way around, and that's pretty much it for the articulation. Now, because I have a lot of modes to do with these guys, I'm just going to do alt modes right after robot mode. So I'm going to put him into jet mode, and we'll compare him in jet mode to his other self. So there they are side by side. Again, other than some slight color differences, pretty much identical. And the deco on the tail fins. Decepticon symbols look slightly darker on his wings and a little bit thicker drawn. So hopefully you can see those symbols. These just seem a little thicker. But yeah, minor differences. But I did say I'd love to get another Starscream, but it is hard to figure on a general release toy that's not like a masterpiece with so many complicated parts that's better than this as a Starscream, to be honest. I was happy with the Earthrise one. I mean, he couldn't open his fingers, but now we can. So that's Starscream. Let's go to my favorite of the Decepticon triple changers, Astrotrain. Astrotrain was actually recolored into Galaxy Shuttle. I think there might have been also some changes to how his head was. Some little bit of remolding, but there he is, and he looks pretty show accurate. This is a repaint of the Siege, of course. I say of course, but you know, you might not have known that. Depends on when you started collecting. Now, looking at the cartoon version, the cartoon picture, which I'll put on the screen, his tones seem much more close to his on-screen version. This is the Siege one, and now he's got purple guns instead of black guns. And there's definitely, this is like a again, a dark gray, whereas this is a much lighter gray. So there is definitely a difference. This one's definitely more animation accurate in coloration, at least. Though he's a little more realistically styled instead of just having the red like the cartoon did. It's like recessed and it's got a border. This guy does not have that, or does he? I forgot to flip these back down. He does have the red in there. It's just a darker red. My bad for forgetting to flip those down. And other changes, I mean, the purple, a little lighter on the new one, I would say. Side detailing looks about the same. On the back, however, while they both have the nozzles for the shuttle in silver, the new one has a little paint app for the actual wheels of the train that they go round and round. And I have a feeling that's going to carry over even more so, as I can kind of glimpse it here, when they're in train mode. So again, very similar, but this one is definitely more animation accurate and doesn't come with that annoying little box. Spin on the turntable of doom. All right, some quick posability. And I haven't been measuring thus far, but Astrotrain from head to toe, about 6¼ inches. But you pretty much can do a Jean-Claude Van Damme. He can kick forward. You've got a little plate in front of his leg that lifts up. Back is a problem, not just because of the construction of his back here, but also the wings would get in the way. Sidekick, no problem, very high. Bends at the knee, just about 90 degrees. He's got a swivel, and he does have pretty generous ankle tilts. One day I will decide exactly if I'm going to call them ankle tilts or ankle swivels, or I don't know. That day's not today. It may never happen. Twisting at the waist, well, it's high on the waist, but he can twist all the way around. Now, the arms can go all the way around, but you kind of got to tilt them out a little bit to avoid the wind. I'm going to take these guns off. I know he's got a third gun, and presumably my Siege one has a third gun, but it's probably with the annoying box because it can only carry 2. So he bends at the elbow. In fact, he bends practically folds over his arm. It's part of the transformation. He's got a swivel. Fists don't turn or anything. No articulated figures for him. Head goes all the way around. Oh, and the arms can also go off to the side. Do the YMCA. So he can be in some pretty cool poses. Here is where he is attempting to dance. So he looks good in this mode. Let's put him into, well, an alt mode. He's got 2 of them. By the way, the instructions, you basically need a microscope in order to read them. I may have to rely also on memory on how to transform this guy. So this is the Triple Takeover version of Astrotrain in his shuttle mode. I gotta say, it's been a long time since I've transformed Astrotrain. You know, probably since I reviewed him. I don't have time to transform all the things I'd like to. And it is a pretty, I have to say, clever transformation, though I just pulled off the tail fin. Let's pop that back in. Luckily, it's easy enough to pop back in. I was just trying to see if it popped further down, and that's why it popped out. But you can see he's much more the lighter gray that he was on the show, whereas this one, again, he's such a dark gray, it's almost brown. This almost could be Blastoff, though apparently we have one coming. Now, one thing I did forget to mention in the robot mode is the feet. It's got purple feet, silver toes. The Siege one has dark gray feet. So a very cool mode. I mean, he is the triple changer. It's not perfect, this stuff back here, but again, overall, he's a pretty cool looking shuttle. But wait, there's more. Oh, Decepticon symbols look about the same. I think this one has like a white border through it, whereas this one's just kind of plain and blah. So these ones pop a little bit more. But other than that, it's the same. All right, train mode. So there they are. This being, again, the Triple Takeover version, a lighter purple. And you can see the detailing on the sides where the wheels are actually have the pistons or whatever they're called. I don't know. I'm not Sheldon Cooper. Whereas this one seems a little more plain, though it has more gray on the top than this one. Again, a little more closer to the animation, not quite exactly, and this one is maybe a little closer to realism, though I don't know how many purple trains there are. And they both roll like shit, so they need a track. This one also has some window things here on the back. There's this one, instead of being yellow and shiny, is same window, but it's gray and dingy. So overall, this is a more cheerful Astrotrain. Yes, I'm more cheerful. But there you go. So 2 out of 3. I was a little concerned that they would be identical, but that was just a little concern. I didn't figure they would be. Come on down, Auto Brat. It's Blitzwing with the Legacy Evolution Blitzwing on which he's based. So again, differences. This one is a lighter purple. more animation accurate. This is a much darker purple. There's also purple on the sides of his head, which might be hard to see unless I turn the head, whereas it's just plain yellow on his. So he's got, this is like the equivalent of the purple-eared Cyclonus, or the blue-eared Cyclonus, which I used to have both versions, and now I don't. Just the purple one. Other changes, he's got a Decepticon symbol on his chest. This one, it's not on his, oh, it's right under his chin. Very small, hard to see. This one's small, but it's a little brighter and lower. Now, interestingly, this has some silver detailing on the front that this one does not. Again, I think they were going for animation accuracy here. Whereas if you look at the back, which I can take this gun off, I'm not gonna mix them up because it's a darker purple. But if you look at the back again, lighter purple, even the tan seems a little brighter. But you can see on the Legacy one, he's got some yellow details here that are lacking on this one. And this one has tan side feet, toes, whatever. This one is a great homage to the original toy, which had the silver tail fins that came out and were his feet. But yeah, not major differences, a little more detailing. They both have the arrows on the chest pointing down. This one has a little bit more red detailing, but again, this is definitely more animation accurate. And the swords look about the same as far as silver, but the guns are definitely matching the purple of the body, so you won't mix them up. All right, we'll put you aside for the moment, and we'll just quickly go over some posability. I've never actually reviewed this figure, so here we go. He's not going to be able to do a full toes up Jean-Claude Van Damme. He comes pretty close, closer than I could do, but no cigar. It's got these hip covers so he can kick forward pretty good. Kicking back, yeah, all these guys have issues kicking back, but side kick, pretty good height. Better than Starscream, not as good as Astrotrain. Twisting at the waist, all the way around. Oh, bends at the knee, sorry. A little more than 90. And of course he has super generous ankle tilts, or swivels. Bends at the elbow, swivels, fists actually turn, arms can go out to the side, like so. Now, because of his very 80s shoulder pads, his arm can go that high and no higher. So unless you remove that entirely, which I'm not going to recommend. Head, of course, turns all the way around. As you probably figured out from the thing I did with the ears. So overall, a good figure, you know, just because of some design elements limited in certain things, but a lot more posable than the original, I'll have you know. All right, time to transform these guys. So there is Blitzwing in his jet mode. Again, much more purple, a lot more cartoon accurate. And there is Honor just walking by, trying to get some affection, and there she goes. Now, the Legacy Evolution one, definitely much darker, and you can see differences in the deco. The canopy is blue on the Triple Takeover one, and you can see the silver here, which is missing from this one, with purple Decepticon symbols, whereas this one, red canopy, silver Decepticon symbols on purple. But those stripes, you have the yellow in the front of the wings, which is missing in the animation accurate one. So definitely a major deco difference, but again, the mold is exactly the same. And the one landing gear is helpful. And I like to point the tank backwards. I'm not sure if that's in the instructions or not, because it's been a while since I've looked at the instructions, but that adds more of, you know, like the classic Blitzwing from G1. And of course, silver tail fins as opposed to tan ones. And now, tank mode. So there they are, the tank modes. This, of course, being from the Triple Takeover. And what's nice is his turret can elevate, rotate 360 degrees. A nice Decepticon symbol there, a little HUD there. It's definitely a clever transformation. I would say my only quibble is having this quite obvious canopy in the front here. And jets on the back, while our rocket-propelled tank would be scary as hell. So again, the difference in shade of the tan, this is darker purple, red compared to blue canopies, and slight difference in the Decepticon symbol. And this one does not have an extra one here. But otherwise, same mold. Now, he does have little wheels on the bottom. I just want to make sure my wheels are straight. So we can actually do a roll fest. Ooh, pretty good. Not bad. I guess the rocket tilt. Woo! So there you have it, the Triple Takeover set. And basically the main advantage of these particular versions is that they're all much more animation accurate. Mold-wise, if you have the molds and you don't care for the same mold again, you can skip this set easily. If you don't have any of the previous ones, this is a good set to get. You don't need the extra parts that come with the Legacy or the Siege versions of these characters. Trust me, they're garbage. If you use them, please let me know, but I don't think they're used very much. So I will definitely put a link in the description so you can potentially pick these up. But again, if you like animation accurate, these are the guys for you. The Starscream, the differences are very, very slight. I do like the more bluish, silver-ish color of this one more than this one. I mean, it's subtle, but it's there. Maybe not as easily visible in my cameras as it is to my eye. Yeah, if you don't have any of these, this is a good set to get, to have all of them in animation accurate or more accurate coloration. If you already have them, then you have to decide if you like repaints as much as I do, which I like repaints quite a bit. But these are not so repainted as to be other colors, other characters rather. I mean, I would love a dozen more Seekers in different colors, maybe black and gold and blue and red and, red without being a cone head and, blue and green and purple versions of Thor. I would love to increase my Seeker army, but these characters, like their predecessors, there's no doubt who they are. Unless you want to call him, Cosmo Locomotive or something, Loco Space, and, say he's a cousin. But yeah, they're a fun set. I'm glad I got it because I'm a weird completist and I get to share them with you. So definitely a fun set. And speaking of fun, if you're having fun, by all means, feel free to subscribe to this channel if you like this content. And we also do have a membership. You become a toy hunter. We have monthly exclusive live streams, members only, kind of like the jacket, though there's no jackets involved. And I talk about all kinds of wacky stuff, show some of my collection that I might not necessarily show in a video anytime soon, talk about coming attractions, talk about fan theories, maybe dish some tea about things that happen behind the scenes at cons. Who knows what I might say? And you can ask me all the questions you want, and I will do my best to answer them unless they're way too personal. But yes, it's big. But all right, again, link in the description so that you can get this set. And while you are mulling over this dramatic capture set, you can actually check out this one over here, which is the Autobot HQ Dramatic Capture Set with the bot who is formerly an Action Master and a couple others. And we will see you next time. As always, have fun and good hunting.